The preliminary report by the AAIB on AI-171 crash has given out details of why the aircraft lost thrust and started to descend. Attention has been drawn to both the fuel control switches, which went to cut off within a gap of 1 second, cutting fuel supply and thrust drop. The report has not released the entire cockpit voice recording, even of the last 1 minute of what happened in the cockpit. It only talks about one pilot asking the other why he moved the switch to cut off. The other pilot responded he didn't do it. It also appears from the exchange between them that both pilots were unaware of who moved the switches. So why would both pilots remain unaware of such a critical action during the most crucial phase of flight, which is the initial climb? The fuel switches were turned on after 10 seconds, but it was too late for the thrust to recover as the flight was at a low altitude. Why did it take 10 seconds to turn the fuel switches back on, especially at such a low altitude when every second matters? The other question is, why were the fuel switches turned on if any of the pilots had deliberately turned it off? Questions are also raised on whether it could have been a mechanical failure. Why? Because in December 2018, the Federal Aviation Administration had issued an advisory to operators of some Boeing planes, including the 787. The fuel control switch has a locking feature to prevent any inadvertent operation that could result in engine shutdown. The advisory said that if the fuel control switch moves between the two positions without lifting up, then the locking feature has been disengaged. So FAA had asked operators to replace the fuel control switch at the earliest to have a better locking mechanism. So the question is, did the fuel switches move inadvertently? The other question is on landing gears. The moment aircraft is on positive climb, the first step is the pilot flying says gear up. But in this case, the gears continue to be down. So were the pilots unable to retract the gear and then started resolving other issues in the cockpit? Could the unretracted landing gear have added to the drag and worsened the aircraft's chances of recovery once thrust was lost? So these are some key questions that need deeper analysis as the AAIB continues to investigate further to understand why and how the switches moved.